Hey everyone, I'm Meg Turney, and I like anime.
I'm Ross Everett, and it's not my sheet of nori.
Really?
Yep.
Alright, welcome to Anime Club. This week we watched Soul Eater. We both did the same thing.
They looked delicious, didn't they?
I love the way their mouths like distended. They were
It was like a snake eating an egg. But at the same time, watching it made me want a dumpling real bad.
That is 100% going to be an animated gif. Both of us doing that.
Now you got it twice. So there was one part of this anime that it was like a really catchy rhyme, and I kind of liked it, but it was like the 42,
5, 6...
2.
5, 6, 4?
42, 5, 6, 4 leaves you knocking on death's door. We should probably
like
figure out exactly what.
It's 42, 5, 6, 4 when you want to knock on death's door.
Yeah, and it rhymed, and it was clearly not catchy enough for us to remember exactly, but I thought that was super cool.
So it's actually kind of a neat thing because the Japanese have this distrust of the number 4. The number 4 is considered unlucky.
As they should. That's a shady number.
That's maybe a weird word, distrust. But there are 2 ways to say the number 4 in Japanese. Shi and yon. And shi is very close to shinu, which means to die, so it's considered unlucky. So the cool thing about the 42, 5, 6, 4 is that it actually, if you go for the way the words are said, it's shini, goroshi, and it's shini is like kind of like shinu, to die, and then goroshi sounds like koroshi, which means to kill. So it's kind of neat. It's like die, kill.
So and that's how you get to death's door. Does it rhyme in Japanese?
I mean, shini, goroshi doesn't really like, I don't know the rest of the phrase in Japanese.
To knock on death's door. Well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
Nakuni? I'm just kidding. I'm like,
is that the real way to say it?
No, I don't know.
Because if I were to fake...
Nakushimasu.
Okay, if I was to fake make up how to say knock, I'd be like, nakuru.
Well, that's the thing is, like, you can come, Japanese, you can do that a lot. You can say, like sexy is sekushi.
Okay, so it kind of like, there's a little bit of phonetic translation over there. What did you think of Soul Eater?
Soul Eater wasn't my favorite. I feel like there were parts that were funny, and there were boobs. There were a lot of boobs in the first 4 episodes. But I don't know. I felt like I couldn't tell. I'd be interested in seeing the subbed version because we watched it dubbed, and I felt like a lot of the phrases were like crammed into a spot or like needlessly elongated, and I wonder if they were just trying to fill the voice spots and if it's a bad translation or not.
I'm so used to when I watch these dubbed animes having the mouths be off sync with the voices. I didn't even notice that. I didn't pick up on it. I liked it. I thought that the animation was different than the, for some reason I'm kind of averse to certain styles of animation. I'm just, when I watch it, they have to win me over. This, I felt like the characters were almost a little bit more rounded than traditional animation that I've seen. That was kind of cool for me. I just got this. Does anime mean animation?
Yes.
We're learning things every day, you guys. It almost felt like it was for kids. Like I was like, okay, we're watching a kid's cartoon until there's a witch, or what you think's a witch, but she's like in a bath. They're grabbing boobs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sexual stuff.
You got
in there.
your first nosebleed in this anime.
Is that a normal thing?
Yes, nosebleeds are considered kind of, they're like the boner of anime. So it's like when a guy's turned on his nosebleeds, and they'll call attention to it as like, I know you think I'm sexy because your nose is bleeding.
Okay, I thought he was just having an aneurysm, and I was like, no one's gonna help that guy. But at the same time, like, people are getting hit in the head with like throwing stars, and I actually, there were some moments where I laughed out loud at this, where it was like, I don't want you to date my daughter, and the kid's like, I would never, and then the dad like bursts through the mirror that they were talking to. Why won't you date my daughter? And so like that got a chuckle out of me.
I liked Death. Death was easily the best character in the whole series.
Like,
blah, 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 blah.
He's kind of clowny, but at the same time, like, he's just super revered by all the characters. So, like, you think that there's something else there. So we normally will watch 2 episodes as, like, an introduction, just get a feel for the series. But for this, we watched 4 episodes because there were 3 episodes just setting up what these characters were. And one thing that I liked is that each character that we focused on had like their thing. So Soul was like, you know, I'm cool. I'm super cool.
I'm the coolest guy here.
And it kept like, that was his downfall, was his vice is that he wanted to be cool. Black Star, right?
He thinks he's the biggest star.
He wants to be big. I'm so big. I'm the biggest. And like, he's terrible at being an assassin. And then there's the weirdest one for me was Death the Kid, who symmetry was his thing. It was his vice, and it would just like incapacitate him.
Right.
And that to me was like the least relatable, because we've seen hubris in other ways where people think they're so big or people think they're so cool, and that's their downfall. But asymmetry is what stops you from killing this monster that's coming after
well,
you?
Well, the asymmetry helped him, actually. The symmetry of the sarcophagus was what froze him. But there's a huge emphasis on the beauty of things in Japan. So, for instance, when you fill a water glass in Japan, typically it'll only be 3/4 of the way full because it's more beautiful that way. So it's like this really, like this nice, like everything is very beautiful. Also, I used to have OCD about symmetry as a kid really bad. So like if I touched this arm, I had to touch this arm. So I felt him.
If something was perfectly symmetrical and trying to kill you, you'd be like,
no,
great, at
listen,
least I'm gonna go out with a beautiful thing.
I didn't like that it was like, kill, wrath. That's what it said, wrath. And I was like, really? Yeah. I didn't like that he didn't kill it. Also, the weapons were cool. Like, they're people. How do you become a person who transforms into things?
Well, I felt like those were like there are two people or types of people in each of those partnerships. There was the weapon, and then there was the person that was trying to become the scythe.
Oh, no. The death scythe was the weapon. Like, the scythe guy was becoming the death scythe. But then the other one was like the soul collectory person.
And then the scythe would eat it, right?
Right.
And there was some cool stuff with like Al Capone was in there a little bit, which I love historical stuff like that. But what kind of an anime was this?
Soul Eater is very, very easily a shonen anime. Super gory with some of the action scenes, action throughout, and boobies.
Well, that's super cool. If you guys want to join us next week, we are going to be watching
Fruits Basket!
Sounds awful. I can't wait to hate on it.
Ross literally said, I said, do you want to help me pick the anime next week? And he said, I don't know, you can pick it. And then I said, we're going to watch Fruits Basket. And he said, that sounds awful.
That sounds terrible. I can't wait to watch it, you guys. If you want to join us next week, you can go to netflix.com/sourcefed. It gives you 1 month free of Netflix, and it helps us, supports the show. It's pretty fantastic. But enough about what we had to say about this show. Here's what you guys thought of Soul Eater.
All the characters are likable, and they're all over the top and wacky, but they all have their own motivations that work for them. The animation still looks really fluid. The voice acting is still amazing. The story work is still great, and the lovable characters that come in here and there, like Professor Stein and the Shinigami and all these other fun stuff. Like, you don't see the Shinigami that much. But when you do, it's hilarious. Like, what Devil Reaper is coming in yelling, yo, what's up, trying to give everyone high fives.
Like Fullmetal Alchemist, I believe Soul Eater is a good intro to any Americans, especially males, looking to get into anime and manga. It's got an engaging story.
I've never seen Soul Eaters before, but I gotta say that I was really into this show, and I'm now addicted to it. I will be watching this show through the full 51 episodes.
Now, as a massive fan of Soul Eater, I can tell you now, you're not gonna get the full story of what Soul Eater is about. But you're gonna have a lot of fun with the first 2 episodes. It is a terrific series, especially if it's a gateway into anime. The animation's beautiful. The comedy and the action are outstanding and hilarious. It really does grip you in. Unfortunate thing about this story is that it doesn't end the way the manga intended it to, because at the time the manga was still going. But nevertheless, even with an alternative ending, it is an amazing series.
I like how the girls are very on top of it and very forward thinking and very sassy, while the guys, they have their flaws, and the flaws that they have are often incredibly crippling. So I like how all these characters interact. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they develop.
The heart-wrenching moments, and then the moment with like young Krona talking to young Maka and about how he can't deal with it, or his argument with his own shadow. It's like really touching, you know? And the fact that they can do that and then like the next second just have like, stop with the wobbly giggles, I told you I can't deal with them. Well, I like them. Satanic smile. It's just, you know, it's good storytelling.
Boobies. Jiggly boobies.